Okay, I would love to show you how to use a s'more flyer in case you've never used one. If you are watching this video, that means you figured out how to scan my QR code, which took you right to this flyer. Whenever you're looking at the flyer, you're going to see at the top it says the Art of New Zealand, and then it tells you that there are 4 forms of art in New Zealand, and those are carving, weaving, tattooing, and painting. Maori, that's the word for the Aboriginal people of New Zealand. Most of the artwork that we're talking about is based on their tribal designs. Okay, so basically this video is step 1, which is what you're watching. And as you're watching it, I'm going to go ahead and take you through a little slideshow that's on here. And this is in Haiku Deck. And so I'm going to click on it. It's going to open up a new window. Now while that's thinking, I want to just scroll down to step 2. Hang on, maybe it's going to take me there. Okay, yeah, I'll let that kind of think for a minute. Step 2 is read about carving. Literally, I want you to actually read about carving right here. Then scroll down and look at some pictures of carving and of people carving. Then learn about how jewelry is made. And then you're actually going to go on to step 3, which is learn how to make a bone carving necklace pendant. And so it tells you the steps here, and then you'll watch the video on how to do that. So this is all what you can do day 1. Now day 2, you're going to come in and learn about tamoko, which is the art of facial tattooing. And it tells a little bit about this, about why it was done, about typical styles and traditions of the face tattoo, and then there are some examples. Then you're going to study about Maori painting before you actually start your own painting. So you'll read about that here, and then it goes down here to the activity. So step 5 is learn about painting, and then actually this should be step 6. I'm going to go ahead and change it for you so it's correct. And now you'll read right here how to do the painting and view some examples. Your painting can either be based on the kuru, which is basically a fern leaf before it opens up, or it could be based on the tribal tattooing. If you would like to do a giant face, I've got a template for that you could draw the Maori style designs on the face and then turn that into your painting so that it's something similar to this, but it's a face. Okay, or it could be just something similar to this. So very colorful, bright painting, and we'll do some outlining with permanent markers. Okay, if you finish either the painting or if you finish the jewelry, then you can scroll down to the next step, which actually is going to be step 7 here. So step 7 is just a little bit of bonus information about weaving. I just put it on there because it is one of the art forms. We're not actually going to have time to do a weaving. I thought maybe you'd rather try this instead. This is going to be a really cool one. Step 8, it says bonus information. So this isn't really about art, but it's just cool because it's the games that they have that are kind of like New Zealand games. So what I want you to do, if you are done with everything else, you're going to use this information on this s'more flyer down here on step 8 to learn how to play. There's 2 different games, and once you have mastered them and you and a friend learn what to do, then you can show the whole class. Okay, and this tells you what the game is and how to do it. And the first one is called Hippy Tippy Toy, and it's a really fun game. Here's the hand motions, and this little link here, if you click on this, it'll actually take you to a video that shows the kids doing it. The next one is Hey Tamo Tu Tamo, and basically when you watch the video, this kid is doing this, and it makes a lot more sense once you watch this little video. You have to click right here. Okay, now step 9, I'm going through and changing all these because I'm just now realizing I numbered them wrong. This is if you get done, maybe the games aren't for you, maybe you can't really figure it out, you can go down here to this other bonus thing that's called Wonderopolis, and it tells more about the kiwi bird. And you can click on this little link right here, and it will take you directly to the Wonderopolis Wonder of the Day about the kiwi bird. Finally, if you finish all those things, I do have a little folder on the iPad called New Zealand, and this little video walks you through there's actually 5. It shows 6 on here, but there's only 5, and you can learn how to do those apps. Okay, so that's how the s'more flyer works. Most of these things like this you can actually click on and it will take you to an outside link. Now for this video I decided rather than having the little slideshow I'm about to show you be alone, I'm going to just show it to you now as part of this video. So I'm going to go back to the beginning here. I think I am anyway. So as you know, New Zealand is the country that we're studying for this class, and it's a beautiful country. I actually got to go there whenever I was in college, and if you ever get a chance to go, you should go, and I would love to go back. I got to visit a school while I was there. I got to see a rugby team in the airport, and it was just awesome. New Zealand, it was one of the last places on Earth to be inhabited by people. The Maori were the first settlers, and then later came the Dutch and English, followed by the Chinese and Taiwanese. The population of New Zealand is pretty diverse. Most, 69%, are from English descent. Today there are 4.4 million people that live there, and of that, almost 15% are of the indigenous Maori. And then there are some of Asian and non-Maori but Pacific descent. In 2011, they did a census, and the population of 4 million people was up based on what it had been in 2006, which was actually a large rise in people. The religion, just to give you a little bit of information about that, it's mostly Christian, but there are some Buddhists, Muslims, and of course the Maori church. The Maori people were the first settlers. We don't really know how they got there. They probably came from Polynesia, which are the islands sort of south of Asia, and we think they got there about 950 AD, but we're not really sure. We're not sure if they made a boat, because really boats they didn't exist at that time, but that's most likely how they got there, some type of a floating vessel. Then later, the Dutch were the first to conquer New Zealand in 1642. New Zealand was sighted far away but could not be reached because of bad weather. Captain James Cook reached New Zealand in 1769 on the first of his 3 voyages. And the Dutch people sailed to New Zealand many times during the 18th century and began to settle there as traders to the Maori people. The Dutch settlers attracted many other Europeans, from Germany to Spain to Ireland and English. In 1840, England colonized and conquered the Dutch, and they became the ruling force in New Zealand until 1907. Actually 1904, it was a British colony, and the British and Maori have always lived harmoniously. The Maoris represented equally in the government, and they're part of the governing system. Now, if you go to New Zealand, they have some interesting food there. They have food you probably would not find around here. New Zealand is basically a gigantic island, and so there's a lot of food that you would find from the ocean, but there's also special tropical food from Polynesia that was brought with the indigenous people. And then, of course, there were plants that are only very unique to New Zealand that are now part of the food and the culture there. And one of those things I want to point out is that they eat some insects and grub worms, so it's kind of interesting. The art of New Zealand was my most favorite part that I was very attracted to when I was there. Because it is visual. They have a lot of tribal designs that are carried on through their carving, tattooing, weaving, and painting. Now this artwork, it wasn't just a doodle, it was a highly spiritual source to convey information about ancestry and other very culturally important matters. If you do go into one of the apps, if you're interested in that, it will explain why they believe the way they believe and why these symbols were used. And I'm not an expert by any means, but if you're interested in this about the culture or anything like that, I would definitely encourage you on your own to go and study that. We're just going to be looking at the visual symbols, but I'm not going to go into every little detail about it for you for this project. So anyway, I hope this told you just a little quick overview of New Zealand, and then on your own you will be sort of navigating the smore flyer, learning on some of this stuff on your own. You're going to have to do some reading and watch a few other videos that I've made, and I hope you enjoy, and good luck.